Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai Linux News. Let's kick things off with some great news for Intel users. According to Forenix, Intel's open-source Mesa drivers have officially marked Nova Lake graphics as stable across all product variants. That means Nova Lake S, U, H, and HX processors with integrated graphics are now fully enabled by default in Mesa 26.3. For the longest time, these next-generation Intel chips were treated as experimental, which meant Linux users had to jump through hoops to get proper graphics support. But those days are done. The Iris Gallium 3D driver for OpenGL and the ANV driver for Vulkan are both ready to go. This is a solid win for Intel and Linux gaming and graphics-intensive workloads across the board. Next up, here's something that's been overdue for almost 3 decades. As reported by OMG, Ubuntu, the GIMP development team has finally started working on a brand new project file format. Now, GIMP has relied on the XCF binary format since 1997. That's nearly 30 years. And while XCF has been faithful, the team has discovered it's hitting its limits with modern, complex projects. They keep running into more and more limitations when users try to work with larger files and intricate layer structures. The new format should be way more flexible and capable of handling contemporary design workflows without all the performance hiccups. This is huge for professional designers and digital artists who've been pushing XCF to its breaking point. Keep an eye on future GIMP releases for this long-awaited upgrade. Here's a story that perfectly captures where the tech industry is right now. According to Forenix, all of the networking subsystem features for Linux 7.3 have been successfully merged. Lots of solid wired and wireless improvements, plus tons of important bug fixes. But here's the catch. The maintainers are now saying they're absolutely overwhelmed. Why? Because they're drowning in patches generated by artificial intelligence and large language models. While some AI-generated code is useful, a huge portion of it amounts to low-importance fixes that are just clogging up the review pipeline. The actual kernel maintainers are stressed out trying to sift through legitimate improvements versus trivial AI-spun patches. It's a real problem that shows how the AI boom is creating unintended friction in established open-source workflows. The kernel devs are basically saying, AI-assisted coding is great, but please be thoughtful about what you submit. Now here's something that'll make Linux power users happy. Forenix is reporting that KDE software now has stable integration with Btrfs file system snapshots, thanks to the new KO Snapshot 1.0 release. For those unfamiliar, Btrfs snapshots are one of the coolest features of the Btrfs file system. They let you instantly create point-in-time copies of your data without eating up massive amounts of disk space. With this new KO Snapshot component, KDE applications can directly interact with those snapshots through the standard KIO framework. That means file managers and other KDE apps now have native, polished snapshot support built right in. No more jumping to the command line to manage your snapshots. It's a quality-of-life improvement that shows KDE's commitment to bringing advanced file system features to the desktop user. This one's a bummer for the open hardware community. Both its OSS and OMG, Ubuntu are reporting that Pine64 is halting production of its Linux devices, at least for now. The company makes fantastic open-source hardware like the PineNote, PineTab 2, and other Linux-friendly single-board computers. But they're stopping because of component shortages driven by the AI boom. Specifically, DRAM and eMMC chip prices have exploded, and supplies are totally dried up. The company estimates current stock will sell out within 3 months, but they don't expect to resume production until mid-2027. It's a real indictment of how the rush to build AI infrastructure has sucked up component supply chains. If you've been thinking about picking up a Pinebook or PineTab, now's definitely the time to grab one before they vanish. Here's something that should get file system enthusiasts excited. Forenix is reporting that the Btrfs file system team has submitted some seriously impressive performance improvements for Linux 7.3. David Sturba of SUSE sent in the feature updates, and according to the reporting, some of these optimizations are delivering performance gains in the 3x to 5x range. That's a massive jump. Btrfs has had a reputation for being slower than Extension 4 in some scenarios, but these updates are making real strides in closing that gap. With better performance across the board, Btrfs becomes an even more attractive choice for users who want advanced features like snapshots, compression, and subvolumes without sacrificing speed. Expect to see these improvements land once Linux 7.3 releases. Finally, here's news for the display server faithful. Forenix is reporting that x.org server 26.1 RC1 has been tagged as a release candidate. This is massive because it represents the first major feature release of x.org server in 5 years. The last significant update was back in the 21.1 series, so there's been a lot of time and effort going into this one. While many in the Linux community have been migrating to Wayland, x.org server remains critical infrastructure for countless systems worldwide. These new features should bring the aging but still essential X display server into the modern era. Keep an eye out for the final 26.1 release later this year.